So, Stephanie, most folks get why sustainability is important. Of course, everybody wants to save the planet. But then why is it so difficult to actually put it into action, to implement this? Why are corporations having such a hard time in moving the sustainability needle?
And I love, Shivani and Lisa, that you both use that word, right? To activate, to incentivize, to empower. That is what is so important about what we do, right? Because we can build the greatest things in the world and innovate, but if people don't actually adopt our solution, if consumers and large companies don't use it, then what are we doing? And I think it kind of comes down to two key reasons. And I'd like to myth bust here a little bit about two assumptions that people always have about sustainability that we believe, and we're here to talk about why it's incorrect. The first is that sustainability automatically has to cost you more money to participate. So many people hear that word and as consumers assume something is more expensive, or as businesses assume it's going to cost me a lot of time and resources and money to adopt, and so we can't afford it. And what's interesting is if you look at the new innovations in the business models that through COVID and beyond are really going bananas, it's the ones that actually are sustainable, but save and make you money. The movement around resale, reuse, right? All of this unlocks huge value for businesses. They can actually save and make money by adopting sustainability. They can find, in working with us, all the waste and unused inventory that they're sitting on, and that's more today than ever before. And they can actually sell it and take that money that they make and turn around and put it back into doing good work in their supply chains, right? Then they can pay their workers more. They can adopt that digital technology innovations that Lisa was talking about. They can use more sustainable materials and resources. And they can do it all without their CapEx expenditure going up. And I think that's really important for businesses to realize. The second piece is that, let's myth bust, is that sustainability, it's only good for small, little eco-conscious collections or little pilot projects, but we can't do it automated and at scale. And obviously, as I know, we can dive deeper into leveraging partnerships with Accenture and others, leveraging technology integrations, leveraging blockchain, machine learning, AI. We can do this, and we do it automated and at scale for the biggest companies in Fortune 500 in the world. And so if you could remove those barriers early on in how you think about sustainability, I think it opens the door to create so much value, of course, for businesses, but also consumers who can get access quickly and easily and at their fingertips to discounted stuff that's actually sustainable as well. So just that different way of thinking, and as we talked about, challenging the old school ways of doing things, I think is really important.
I'm glad you brought up consumers, because when you think about sustainability, a lot of it comes down to behavior change from people like the three of us. And the question is, what's preventing that behavior change from happening? Or if you flip it around to the incentives, what are the incentives to drive consumer behavior change? And if you think about it, there's typically three ways that you can drive change. One is the carrot and the incentives, make this part of your job, tie this to performance. And then there's the stick, red light, green light, show lists where you're somehow, moving into the red if you do this. Like some energy companies have started to do that, like look at your energy bill compared to your neighbors in your neighborhood. But then there's the third lever, which is bringing out the passion and bringing out the purpose. And when you can tap into somebody's purpose and passion and vision, you get people to go above and beyond and to do things that they didn't even plan to do perhaps before. And when you think about behavior change in the sustainability sense, I think of two examples. One is the Carbon Disclosure Project, and the other one is smoking. In terms of the Carbon Disclosure Project, I think that it's been proven that it has been an incredibly powerful mechanism to move corporate change around sustainability. And what was the model? The model was to get a whole group of institutional investors behind the organization and to request carbon data from companies. And with all of the company's investors involved in the request, it started to speak. And then it became this like red light, green light, and the the stick, essentially. No company wants to be graded below their direct competitor. And as the Carbon Disclosure Project gained more and more traction, and it became, we kind of call it the Carbon Olympics. And we want to win the Carbon Olympics. So it's possible to get more approvals for disclosures in order and to change practices to win the Carbon Olympics. And the other example that I think about in terms of consumer behavior, and I think about the practices that were put in place to encourage people to stop smoking. Things like in the airports, you could see smoking rooms. You could see sections of the room with a circle. If you want to smoke, go stand over there, and essentially drawing attention to people who were smoking and making you think twice before you go into that group. And yet, even knowing what are the effects of smoking, it may or may not influence consumer behavior change. So I think with sustainability, we have a big opportunity, big set of gaps there, and but maybe we can learn from some of these examples.